Hallo zusammen. This is part 3 of me analyzing the Django Unchained German speaking scene with Christoph Waltz and Broomhilde speaking German and him revealing that she's about to be reunited with Django. There's so much to unravel and I talked way more than I expected, to be honest, and that is why I made this into a 3-ish part series. This was a lot of fun for me to make, and to really dive into this from a linguist point of view is so interesting and something else entirely. Great acting, great scene, great movie. Enjoy.
Wen?
Das kann ich Ihnen nicht sagen.
He's so happy because he knows what's about to happen. You could say he is verschmitzt. You know, he's enjoying, not that he knows more, but he is happy for her, which to me, in my book, is one of the biggest forms of empathy you could show.
Das kann ich Ihnen nicht sagen.
So she's asking, wen? Also, very short, once again, if you wanted to, you could take this as another sign of her loosening up a little bit in a positive way and being more direct, because she is not asking a complete question, but rather just one word. Wen? To which he then happily replies, das kann ich Ihnen nicht sagen. You may have noticed that I stressed 2 words in that phrase, das and nicht, right? Das kann ich Ihnen nicht sagen. And this is a perfect example of how important intonation is and how much of a difference it can make. For instance, you could say, das kann ich Ihnen nicht sagen. In the sense of, I can't say that, but I can show you. Something like that, you know, a completely different context.
Unser gemeinsamer Freund hat einen Hang zum Dramatischen.
Yeah, she knows.
Wo ist er?
You can see that, and you can also hear it in her voice. And you can feel the anticipation rising within her. Great acting, I think. The mimics, you know, die Mimik, while she reacts to what he says and everything, and while she speaks and replies to what he is about to say. That is great. I love it. So he says, unser gemeinsamer Freund hat einen Hang zum Dramatischen. To which then she replies, wo ist er? Where is he? Verbally speaking, she is stressing the verb ist, wo ist er? Whereas in the English translation, as you can see here, it's this. So it's a completely different focus, you can say.
Wo ist er?
I guess you could argue that highlighting the ist in wo ist er also has a sort of demanding quality almost. Politely demanding, she doesn't want to wait anymore. She wants to see him again, now. Wo ist er? Where is he?
Er steht direkt hinter dieser Tür.
Yeah. It's a heartwarming scene. And I also love the gesture. Steht direkt hinter dieser Tür. And you may have noticed that Christoph Waltz also drops the personal pronoun here, because he doesn't use the er. He doesn't talk about who is standing behind the door.
Er steht direkt hinter dieser Tür.
Using an elliptic structure like that, you know, dropping the personal pronoun is also very common in colloquial daily German. Especially when you know that the other person in the conversation also shares the same context. They know who you're referring to. Now they have truly bonded. Now she trusts him. There is das Vertrauen. And that is why they can also talk more loosely, stylistically speaking.
Versprechen Sie mir, dass Sie nicht schreien werden.
Also a very subtle thing, but worth pointing out, and another sign of great intuitive acting. Now I don't know if that was part of the script or if he, Christoph Waltz in this case, did that purposefully. Stuttering is the wrong term, but he hesitated to raise that question. Versprechen Sie mir, dass Sie nicht schreien werden? He almost didn't want to ask the question. However, he also needs to make sure that they remain safe. And I feel like that is why he says versprechen Sie mir instead of versprechen Sie mir. You know, like the short versprechen. versprechen. And not versprechen Sie mir.
Versprechen Sie mir, dass Sie nicht schreien werden.
I love those things. When I watch movies, or series for that matter, shows, whatever, I really love those little details. They enrich a scene in terms of atmosphere and Authentizität, authenticity.
Sagen Sie, ich verspreche es.
Ich verspreche es.
Once again, he wants and he needs to make sure that this works out well for everyone involved. Himself, but also them, Brumhilde and Django. Sagen Sie, ich verspreche es. Say, I promise. In German with the additional S. I promise it, so to speak. That would be the normal way of phrasing this in German. The S in sagen is also a little bit delayed for that reason, because he's a little bit reluctant, but he needs to ask, to which she says, ich verspreche es.
Ich verspreche es.
And that is another interesting thing for you guys out there, learning German or just simply being interested in the German language and how it works. She is basically merging the two words to one, enunciating them as one word. Ich verspreche es. However, in reality, that isn't really correct. And I'm not saying that to, diminish her acting in any way, shape, or form. No, I'm simply stating that out of a linguistically explanatory reason. When we take a look at the IPA of this phrase, meaning how to pronounce, how to enunciate, how to verbalize that, you can see that there is a difference between the E, the vowel E, at the end of verspreche and at the beginning of S. The E at the end of verspreche is a typical example of a so-called schwa, a schwa sound, which is a very low-key, weak-sounding E. Ich verspreche. Ich verspreche. And the E at the start of S, it, is ich verspreche es. Now, when you speak fast, you may as well hear people saying something like ich verspreche es. She's doing her best, of course, but linguistically speaking, that's not correct. Klopf, klopf, klopf.
Hey, little troublemaker.
You silver-tongued devil, you.
I love that. Like I said, what a great movie. What an impressive, impactful scene that is. It tells a whole lot about how a language works and what is so interesting and what makes languages so cool. And the German one in specific, I feel like. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can also support me on patreon.com/definitely if you want to. And or you can also become a YouTube channel member. That is also greatly appreciated. You can find links to all my socials as well as support options in the video description down below. Definitely see you next time. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal.